few things that I just need to find out about you right away. Number one, did you like Puertas?
The Mexican restaurant at Ball State?
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't go there, did you even attend Ball State?
That's not wrong. Number two, what dorm did you live in?
Studebaker West.
Okay. And number three, did you ever give Frog Baby's nose a little rub?
I didn't because I did not want to get wet.
You're cool. Only Ball State people will understand. What's up, guys? Amanda Smith here with IndyCar and Pacers reporter and my fellow Ball State alum, Katie Hart. That's my show today. Oh, yes. See, you know what's up. So before you were covering motorsports, you were actually racing midgets. How did you decide to step away from the wheel and in front of the camera?
So that decision happened when I was at Ball State, like the end of my freshman year, beginning of sophomore year, kind of. It kind of just came to the point where I had to make a decision. Was I going to keep racing or was I going to keep attending college? And I loved Ball State and the journalism department there. And I felt like that was really where I fit. I mean, I loved being at a racetrack, but felt like maybe my place at the racetrack was as a reporter instead of a driver, and just stopped driving like at the drop of a hat, really, and pursued journalism hard after that.
Was there a moment that kind of is set apart for you that made you feel that way?
I can't remember an exact moment, but I mean, anybody who went to Ball State, like Amanda, you can speak to this, the journalism department there is just amazing. And they have so many resources and so many alumni that it's really hard not to say, wow, this is a great career choice and a great school choice to go along with the career.
I always say home of David Letterman and boom goes the dynamite. You're all welcome.
Yes, exactly.
So I was on your Instagram, not creepy, but I saw that you posted a picture and your caption said, in Indiana, there's two things, racing and basketball. So how have you been able to expand your role as a reporter where now you have opportunities to work with organizations like the Pacers?
Yeah, so the Pacers job came about this past fall. One of my good friends works for them and says, hey, texted me and just said, hey, we are looking for a new digital reporter. Would you be interested? I'm like, of course. The NBA is huge all across the country. You know, why would you not want to get more experience and branch out into other sports? So I applied, and luckily they accepted my application, and that has actually grown into some more jobs with Fox Sports Indiana. We're working on a project called Basketball Day Indiana, which really is a testament to basketball and racing in Indiana. That's really all there is. Okay, so we have cornfields too, but now I'm working on this Basketball Day Indiana project where we're traveling across the state and finding basketball stories across the state leading up into the actual basketball day, which is January 19th, where we're going to be covering like 6 or 7 games that day alone. So it's been a great adventure.
Have you found any interesting stories so far?
You know, it's funny. There's like an NBA player or former NBA player from almost every school. It's crazy. We went to the Basketball Hall of Fame just a few days ago, and according to them, that Indiana is the state with the most NBA players, which how could it not be? And then I also found this really cool. It's called Hoosier Hardwood. I highly suggest, if you're a sports fan, but especially a basketball fan, Googling this project, because these guys just started taking pictures of basketball gyms that they really liked and put them on Facebook. And all of a sudden it exploded. And now they've got thousands of pictures of these, like, sometimes dilapidated, abandoned gyms across the state. And the pictures are incredible. So I just highly suggest checking that out.
Just this year, you started your own organization called Fuel the Female, in which you give women an opportunity to get hands-on experience working in and around motorsports. Why is it important to you to invest in support in their careers?
You know, there were so many women and people, actually, not just women, that invested in me when I was growing up. The first one that comes to mind is Lynn St. James. I was a product of her driver development, and she always instilled in us to give back. And I feel like Fuel the Female is my opportunity to give back to all those women that were incredible mentors to me. So through Fuel the Female, I'm really hoping that, just not even across motorsports, but I mean, motorsports is my number one love, but just that I can encourage girls to achieve their dreams no matter what it's in. Um, and, those events are happening at tracks, which I'm lucky to do. But I just hope, like, their tagline is empowering girls to achieve their dreams through motorsports. So whether your dream happens to be as an NBA reporter or as a motorsports reporter or an engineer or a basketball coach, whatever that dream may be, I hope that you see other women in Fuel the Female and say, wow, I can be Kara Adams someday, or I can be Kate Gilmack someday.
I love that. I feel inspired, so thank you. Okay, quick little game. So this is just going to be a fill in the blank. So my first day ever on TV was like...
Ooh, terrifying.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
So my first day ever on TV was in Terre Haute, Indiana. I think it was terrifying because I'm like, oh my God, people are actually watching me, and what if I mess up, and what are they going to think of me, and what does my hair look like?
It's always the number one question. It never wants to work with you when you need it.
No.
Someone I'd like to thank is blank for blank.
Ooh, that's hard to pick just one. Whoa. I guess, oh gosh, I have so many mentors, but I mean, how could it not be my parents? Because they were so supporting. They got me into motorsports and have just been so supportive and encouraging through every twist and turn of this crazy life.
A turning point in my career was at?
I would say it was either in late 2014 when I was offered the job with NBC, or in the spring of this year when I decided to pursue Fuel the Female and can see some longevity there.
In the new year, I hope that
I continue chasing my own dreams. There's days where you feel like maybe your own dreams aren't attainable, but especially with Fuel the Female, I've seen and heard from so many women that keep encouraging me to pursue my own dreams.
When you have days like that, what kind of brings you back to a moment of, okay, this is why I do this?
I read a lot. If you haven't read Rachel Hollis's book, Girl Wash Your Face, I highly recommend it. Right now I'm reading Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I get little snippets from these women that I admire, and it's like, okay, just keep plugging. You can still do this.
I love that. I actually read when I need a little motivation too, so I'm gonna have to take you up on your recommendations.
Yes.
Let's get to some of the fan questions for you. So Cole Mards 17 says, who is your biggest influence in your broadcasting career?
Maybe not well-known fact, I was a runner for ESPN, which means I was just kind of like the gopher person for ESPN NASCAR when I was in college. And at the time, Nicole Briscoe was hosting the pre and post race, and she really helped me multiple times, and still has reached out to me and gave me some guidance. Jamie Little, Shannon Spake, all the women that started breaking ground, Krista Voda, all those women that were first in the pits and really good at their jobs.
So Brandon C. Smith 5 says, besides passion and love for sports, what are some key characteristics or qualities to get your foot in the door in the mass communications industry?
You have to be really persistent because there's only so many jobs out there. And I think that your persistence is key, and networking and always following up with those contacts. I think that's something I go back to all these lessons that Lynn St. James taught us. We were always following up with contacts and building your network and knowing people all across the country, and, knowing people all across the world, of course, doesn't hurt either, but making personal connections with people everywhere all the time.
All right. Tim Rushi says, what is something people wouldn't know about IndyCar drivers?
It's a hard one too. People always ask me, who's your favorite to interview? And I'm like, I don't have a favorite. They're like, oh, come on. And I really don't, because they're all actually really nice. We don't have a bad apple.
You know, it's funny. I did one of these episodes with Caitlin Vinci, and I actually was an intern at Fox Sports One in Charlotte with NASCAR drivers, and she said the exact same thing, that everyone in the sport is just so kind, and it's almost like a little family.
Yes, we call it IndyCar Island.
Okay, Kat Frankie says basketball and racing seem to be very different sports. Correct. What is your favorite aspect of each?
So motorsports, I love everything about it. The adrenaline, the sound, the smell of all of it. Like that runs in my blood. And like that's IMS is like my church. Like that's the end all be all for me. But the NBA is so competitive and high paced sport, and really allows you to connect with people everywhere. I mean, motorsports is like its own little family too, but the NBA is so much more widespread, I feel like. And I've had a blast there too.
Where did that passion for racing come from?
Man, if you've ever been to a racetrack, I feel like you instantly will know. I mean, so I first got into a race car and I cried. I hated it. I did not want to do it. I was a dancer when I was little, and I was like, what, race cars? No way. And then my dad was just like, no, just kept encouraging me to try it. And so finally I was hooked. I mean, like when you get in the seat and you're in control of this machine, it's just like this really empowering, exciting adrenaline rush.
Okay, final question. Steph Mards says, I am also a Ball State alum. In what ways do you feel that the university allowed you to grow, and who was your favorite professor?
My favorite professor, I have two.
Okay.
Phil Bremen, who is no longer there. Was he there when you were there?
Yeah, wait, what? Did he leave?
He retired.
What?
So Phil, like for those of you that didn't attend Ball State, when you think of Anchorman, like this, Phil was him. Like the voice, the look, everything.
Down to the suit.
Yeah, he was awesome. So Phil's retired now. Unfortunately, I feel like it's not the same without him.
Yeah,
Kids
you
need
just
him.
kind of like hurt me a little
Need
bit.
him. And then also Chris Taylor, who is the director of the SportsLink program there. And that leads into the next part of the question, where how does Ball State, work with students? Sorry, I don't remember the exact wording, but there's so many opportunities for students at Ball State. SportsLink, there's students directing, producing, they're the on-air talent, they're the graphics, they're the audio people. NewsLink, that's the news version of SportsLink. If television isn't your thing, they have the daily news. They have their own magazine. They have their own radio station. There are endless opportunities for students at Ball State, and I think that's really the key for them.
And I think one of like the coolest things and one of my favorite parts is like they just throw you right in, right? And the professors that are the advisors are really just advising. Like they're letting you make mistakes and letting you figure things out on your own, and how do I fix this? How do I do this next time? And like that just prepares you seriously for all of this crazy real world experience.
That's a great point. People always ask me what they should do, and I always say if you're not going to Ball State, get an internship where you can get your hands on some camera equipment, because at Ball State, students are getting that real world experience from the first day of class. I mean, there is no introductory period. At News 101, you're probably going to put together packages, or you are going to put together news packages.
Yeah, I remember just like one of the first things I ever had to do, I'll never forget. It was for one of my first classes, and it was like, okay, go find 10 people to interview. And I was like, wait a second.
That you don't know, right?
You don't know, right? That you don't know. And I was like, okay. And there's like no time for anyone to hold your hand or tell you what to do, and you just gotta buck up and go do it.
See, that was terrifying though, wasn't it? That's how I felt the first day on television. I was like, It was almost as if I forgot everything. Like, how do I speak?
Well, that is all that we have time for today. Thank you so much for making time for me. It was so great to get to meet you virtually through my computer. And I look forward to following your work.
Yes, thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, guys, for Katie Hargitt, I'm Amanda Smith. We'll see you next time.